Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? It's good to hear, of course. Let's see, who do we have here that's joining us live today? It's probably 1:30 already in New South Wales and other parts of the country, still 12:30 here, and I do hope that all of you have kept in mind that it is daylight savings at the moment. And if you haven't and you're watching the recording, be sure to adjust your times in your diary. So, of course, this is time for our weekly learning piece, but I'll just wait a couple of seconds to see if we can get some people hopping on live so that we can have a chat as we go. All right, let's have a look. Who's going to be first to join us today? Who is it gonna be? No one yet? No one yet? As I fix my hair, make sure I'm in prime condition to talk to all of you. It is raining here in Brisbane. It is a pupil-free day. Geez, those happen way too often. So I've got all my kiddies here at home. So if we've got some interruptions, that is why. I've had a pretty busy morning myself already. Of course, I had the PPS coffee chat this morning first off. Then I had a meeting with Stacey, my principal psychologist. We caught up for some time. And yes, and I'm also working with my brand new PA, Kirsty, who's also in this group now. So I need to get her to say hi and hello to you one of these days, hopefully on live stream. And now I'm here speaking to you, doing a learning piece, because this week, of course, is a very exciting week because I'm preparing for the Get It Done residential retreat that kicks off Wednesday night. We start with a dinner, welcome dinner, and then the official Getting It Done happens on Thursday. Starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, first person on. Who is it? Christine. Hey, Christine, how are you? Now I've got permission to get started because we've got the first person that's joined us live. How are you doing, Christine? Hope you're doing well. I see I've got two people on here. Who else is here? Please say hi, say hello, and let me know that you are here with us. Cool bananas. Hey, Natalie. Natalie's here from the Gold Coast. Hey, Natalie. All the Queenslanders are on here. Must be that daylight savings thing. All right. So I've been a bit in two minds with regards to the topic of today's learning piece. So I had like a topic that I thought I wanted to talk about, and then we had the lovely Monique put up her post earlier today about team and sharing her struggle in terms of I'm just reading in terms of retaining staff and almost having to live with that constant worry of when am I getting that email or that phone call or that chat where they're going to go, oh, I've got some bad news, I'm moving on, or, you know, something's happened, or we're moving away, or I'm pregnant, I'm going on maternity leave, and getting that news that your clinician team is moving on. I see we've got a couple of comments on that post already. Jessica's last comment that I haven't read it yet says, I've come to expect 5 bombshells a year to prepare myself for the unforeseeable. Yes. So after the initial shock of when a CRT or psych resigns, I remind myself that this is the way it goes and I get on with it and do what needs to be done. It can be really stressful, inconvenient, and some clients will be unhappy, but then it gets better. Great comment there, Jessica, because it is so true. Hey, Tess, thanks for joining. Glad to see you on here as well. Awesome. So I thought let's chat about that because it's obviously very relevant. And as I said, I had a meeting with Stacey this morning, who's also in this group, in terms of staffing issues for us as well. So I've got a psychologist that is leaving, but she's given us a couple of months notice. She'll probably still be until the end of the year. Kat, that is moving on, and it's really about how do you retain them. And, it's very interesting also reading Monique's comments of some of your experiences, Monique, with having worked in a private practice for someone else. And you know, some of those things sounds like, geez, you can't believe that that would be the case. Hey, Frank, thanks for joining. Frank, Facebook is telling me Frank Breer is available to go live with you. Are you asking me out on a date, Frank? We're going to go live together here. It must be because you're doing so many live streams. Facebook is going, this guy does a lot of lives. He wants to go live with you. Awesome. I'm glad that you're here with me. So let's have a think about team retention. Obviously, the goal is always to retain your team as long as possible, and you know, for as much as possible, because we put in a lot of energy, effort, time for me is even more important than money. Hey Jessica, thanks for joining, into getting our team to that place where they can just run their thing, look after their clients, all of that stuff. And therefore, when they give their resignations, it can be a big downer, because it's like, oh no, I need to start all over again. But you know what? Acceptance is such an important part of that process, in terms of accepting that that is probably how it is going to be. And it's almost really changing the way you look at it in terms of your role as a practice owner. And I've always told myself that a big part of what I do is teach people how to be a good psychologist, how to do things the psych professionals way. So whenever they move from me, whether they go to another private practice or they start their own private practice, let's say if they go to another private practice and that practice owner is just amazed of how great and amazing they are, it's a bit of a pat on the back for me, in terms of that's been my contribution to that person becoming a really awesome allied health being professional. Now, yes, that's a very altruistic way of thinking, and sometimes that can be challenging when you are the one left behind, having to problem solve and keep all the balls in the air. All right, so again, we want to be very proactive where what that is concerned. So I'll get back to that. So the first thing I would say, very important. Hey, Joanna, thanks for joining. This must be your first live stream with us, Joanna. So glad you're here on with us. Hey, Kate, glad to see you here as well. So first of all, it's that acceptance that it happens, the knowing that when they leave, whether they go to someone else or whether they start their own private practice, know that you've played a very important role in setting that person up, in making sure that they are an ethical professional, that they know how to do things, all that type of stuff. Now, in terms of, so that's acceptance. Second thing that I would do is always work on, whilst they are here, how to keep them in a mindset, how to keep that momentum that they want to stay here. And I think probably the biggest thing, and we all know to do this, but let's be honest, we don't. Why? Because we get so caught up in other stuff. If you're anything like me, you always have a list of 10 new things that you want to do, 10 new projects, or this is going to be awesome, that's going to be amazing, I want to do A, B, and C, and these guys are running really well, they're doing fine, so I can just let them do their thing. No, that is shooting yourself in the foot. All right, and I know if you're anything like me, it's like you can't wait to get there, where they're just doing their own thing and you can work on all these new projects, but that's the biggest mistake you can make. All right, so it's really important to go, although I accept that they will come and go, I'm still going to, while they're with me, work on keeping them aligned to the vision of this practice. So not only letting them run and do their own thing, but consistently have a shared vision for what is our purpose here at the practice. And it is having that purpose-driven practice where everybody knows what is the bigger picture. All right. And I have a bit of deja vu, like I'm sure I've spoken about this before, don't ask me when and where. But the thing is, you know, people can go and see clients anywhere, whether it's your practice, somebody else's practice, their own practice, Queensland Health, doesn't matter. They can do the same clinical work anywhere. So why do they need to do it at your practice? That's what you need to be clear on. What is special about your practice? You need to differentiate that bigger picture goal and value that you have and that you want to have your whole team to align with. All right. If you've listened to some of what that guy's name, Simon Sinek's work, when he talks about millennials, they want to contribute and they want to have meaning and purpose. Yes, they're very impatient, but unless you can show them the meaning, unless you can show them the purpose, they're going to lose interest very quickly. All right, so although sometimes that's annoying for me as somebody that's not a millennium, it's like, I need to get with the party. That's how things are. That's the new culture. So how do I make this work for me at my practice? Just seeing who else is here. All right. So first thing was acceptance, that people do move on, but really accepting it. And I like that comment that Jessica put in, like going, okay, I can expect 5 bombshells a year. Anything less than 5, awesome. Anything more, need to start looking at what's going on. But having that acceptance. Number 2, making sure that there's a vision, not only in your head, but that your entire clinical team knows what it is, your entire clinician team knows what it is. And how about your referrers and your practice angels and your community of clients knowing what that is? When last did you share that with them in a passionate way? Not the vision or the mission statement that's on the website and that's boring as whatever, but that passionate sharing of your message. And the best way, of course, to do it is on a live stream or recorded video or a vlog like this, because that is when people trust it, when they can hear the passion and the conviction in your voice when they're sharing it with them, because it's more than just black words on a white screen or black words on a white piece of paper. It really comes from the heart. All right. So that's what you need to do, that vision. Then whilst they're there, you also need to make sure that they have the diversity that they desire in their role. You know, some people are happy seeing individual clients day in, day out. Other people don't want that. They want to do groups or they want to do something different. Make sure that they have that diversity. If you can offer it to them here in this place where they're at right now, at your practice, awesome. I also find a lot of psychologists like to do some clinical client works here with us, and then they might want to do something else. Like I've got a psychologist at the moment that wants to work on an app, which is separate from the work that he does with us. And I went, you know, awesome, amazing, because I know that's going to give him diversity in his job. All right. Hey Samantha, glad to see you on here as well. So make sure that there is diversity for them. Now, how do you ensure that? You only know what they want by having regular contact with them through meetings, okay? I'm still surprised when I speak with practice owners and they don't have a regular catch-up time with their clinical team. Now, I'm talking about whether your clinical team is employees or whether they are subcontractors. It doesn't matter. You need to meet with them at least on a monthly basis. Doesn't matter how experienced they are, even if it's a psychologist with 20 times more than your experience, or they've been in it. Samantha says, hey, yeah, that must be Western Australia for hello. Love it. You still need to catch up with them. Why? Because you're the practice owner. You're still their manager. Doesn't matter how you engage them in your practice, all right? You want to have that open communication where they feel that they can talk to you about stuff, which also means that you need to be very mindful of how you act in those sessions. If you're going to become defensive, if you're not, that type of stuff, they're going to start withholding information and not share stuff with them. Again, I'm not saying become friends with your clinician team, but have open communication with them where they feel that they can talk to you about stuff if they're getting bored, if they're getting overwhelmed, and have a solution-focused problem-solving approach to that in terms of, okay, so what is it that you need to be more stimulated? What is it that you need to feel more on top of your workload, and really work together in that way so that they are supported throughout the process. Very important. Was that number 3? Yes. Number 4 would be to actually have a formal career progression pathway. So if you've done the masterclass weekend workshop with me, you will know that we've got a very structured career progression pathway in my private practice. And, I always refer to most practices being set and forget practices. So you sign up, you do your paperwork, you start seeing clients, and it's, all right, see you later, alligator. And that's what you are for the rest of your life. You really need to start thinking, well, just like any other employee in any other organization, our clinical team as well as your admin team want to feel that they're progressing. If you've done any readings around Tony Robbins and those guys, they often talk about the value of contribution. People need to feel that they're contributing, all right? And if they're doing the same thing day in, day out, they're going to lose that sense of contribution. Hey Anna, thanks for joining. Glad to see you here. It says Anna is available to go live with you as well. So Anna and Frank wants to go live with me. Who else wants to go live with me? And then, and Samantha. So Samantha, that's because you've been doing vlogging. But have you been doing vlogging that I haven't been noticing, Anna? I'm just thinking about why. It was very odd. It only certain people that has that little thingy. And I'm surprised, Tess, that it's not next to your name, because I know that you do a lot of vlogging. All right. So Anna, if you are doing vlogging and you haven't been sharing it with us, you need to start sharing. Where was I? Yes. So we need to learn from Orcside people in terms of having steps, having a bit of a ladder approach that people can actually join us, join and grow with your practice. So we've got like 3 to 4 levels throughout our practice where people can go up in a percentage, but they also have more duties, responsibilities, projects and stuff that they're involved with. And that also means that we've got formal check-ins with them. So every 6 months, we'll have what we call a support space with the clinician where there's serious FOMO going on there, yes? In terms of going, all right, do you want to work towards improvement? This is what you need to do. These are the boxes that you need to tick in order for you to go up with this percentage. So the clinician has that informed consent of what it is that they are working towards. Christine says maybe it's how we're watching. I'm on a laptop, so I wouldn't be able to go live. Interesting point. Kim, hey Kim, thanks for joining me. All right, so let's recap. Acceptance, number 1. Step 2 is that vision, purpose-driven, aligned vision. Step 3 is that ongoing check-in and support through regular meetings with them. All right, not just, going, they're experienced, they know what they're doing. No, we want to have that open communication so we can support them, problem solve together. And then also having a structured career progression pathway within the practice. Now, that's 4 things, all right? So those that's only joined later, you're going to have to go and rewatch the recording. Now, something else that as I was reading one of Monique's subsequent comments on her original comment was somebody asked, I think it's Anna that asked about, what was that negative experiences that you've had? And Monique listed those. And the thing is that until you've had a bad experience like that, and this is just how it is, you don't really appreciate what you've got. Okay, so Monique has had really tough experiences in private practice, and as a result, she's gone, I'm never being that type of practice owner, so I'm really going to look after my team by doing all of these things, having all of these supports there for them. Now, unfortunately, the thing is, if somebody's coming straight out of uni and they've never had that bad experience, unfortunately, they might not be as appreciative as you would like them to be for what it is that you are offering, because they don't know about the bad. You only really appreciate the good, let's be honest, if you've had the crappy side of life. That's just human. So I think this is just a caution in terms of going that we can easily get disappointed when it feels like our team doesn't appreciate what we do for them. And there's nothing as bad as feeling unappreciated. Okay, that's just one of my little buttons. I show appreciation, I show gratitude when somebody does something for me, and I guess that's why that is, I guess, a button for me as well, but that could easily happen. Now, there's ways around that, and you might want to share with your team some of your experiences so they actually get to realize, that actually the grass is not always greener on the other side. Sometimes it's actually really shitty over there. and it's not good, and it's dry, and it's hard. I mean, I can't believe I'm in denial about half the stuff that's happened to you. Well, I just go, how the hell can a practice owner do that to a clinician? And, you know, how are they still allowed to be out there, I'm assuming, operating a business? It's like, I want to put a stop to it. That's how annoyed I get at that, and you know, how wrong that is, my sense of injustice that they can do that. And those are unfortunately the practice owners that gives the rest of us a really bad reputation, and for people to start referring to us as unscrupulous or lining our own pockets, because yes, there are always those bad apples that does it, but they really, I think our industry is letting us down in terms of having proper ways to fix that. They make it just too hard for people to report it, and they just take too long to do anything about it. Most of the times, from what I've heard, people just get a slap on the wrist. But I'm going off on a tangent there. So I think, you know, you don't want to do like a big speech or lecture about how bad your experience was, but Monique, I would definitely suggest that, you know, you just look at those opportunities, whether it's over coffee, over lunch with your team, wherever there is an opportunity to, in conversation, talk about some of those negative experiences that you've had, because very often people don't know. They can't appreciate what they have if they don't know how bad it could potentially be out there. And again, just for you being mindful of the fact that if people haven't been through an experience like that, they might not be as appreciative as you would like them to be. Now I've just got my laptop here and just want to see if we've got any comments or questions on this topic that I might not be able to see on there. Okay. Don't see anything just as yet. Might also do a quick check here. Okay, let me go back to also Monique's question here. Oh, that's my other point that I wanted to make. I knew if I just look at it, it will pop into my head. I think wherever possible, you want to overhire and hire sooner rather than later. Okay, and I know that psychologists particularly, it could be similar for other type of allied health professionals like our OTs and our speechies. We just wait too long before we get more team members. You guys need to get comfortable taking on new clinicians, and they're not fully booked on day one. Okay, when I speak to practice owners, it's like they have this unrealistic expectation, and you know what? It happens sometimes, but and it happens often at my practice. But I think it's an unrealistic expectation to take someone on board and go, okay, on day one you're going to be fully booked, and on day two you're going to be fully booked, and the whole of week one and week two you're going to be fully booked when you start. It's an unrealistic expectation. Do not put that on yourself. All right. You don't need the stress and anxiety. I did that for quite some time, and then I just went, hang on, why am I doing this to myself? Instead, when I hire someone, I'm going to put in the cover email when I send them their contract, going to go, please ensure that this offer is conditional upon the following, blah, 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 blah. One of those points are that due to the nature of private practice, it could take several weeks for you to build up to a full caseload. Please be mindful of this as you accept this offer. Okay? They're making that decision. They go, yeah, I get that. That's fine. And you know what? A lot of clinicians have told me that they have appreciated not having a full caseload when they started, because people do not realize how much there is to learn in private practice. They think I'm going to come in, see my clients, and that's it. Referral types, reporting stuff, all of that different stuff that you need to learn. There's so much, all right? So it's a good thing if they're not fully booked. I always say I aim for having, if they've got 3 to 4 clients on the first day, I go tick, 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 good job, practice owner. And obviously we book a maximum of 6 clients at our practice. So take that pressure off you so that you can call what my principals, I can't remember who's the one that termed this, overhire. So I often overhire. If I get, as long of course as I've got the room space, I've overhired many times before, because we know how hard it is to get good, great, not good, but great clinicians on board. So if I get 3 really awesome applications, I'm going to take all 3 on board. Okay, and I'm not going to be having sleepless nights because they're not going to be fully booked. I'm going to engage in open conversation and going to go, okay, it's going to take a couple of weeks for you to get fully booked, but we'd really love for you to come on board. How does that sit with you? Have the conversation, people. Don't put that pressure on yourself, and get more people on board than maybe what you need. Now, of course, it's easy for me to say that because I subcontract. I know, let's say for Monique that did this post for you, it's going to be harder because you've got employees and you've got a minimum number of hours to pay them. If I had to have employees in that way, I would give them specific tasks to do for me that I can't get to, whether that is drawing up marketing material, writing blogs for the website, doing Facebook posts for the next 3 months and putting it all together with images, content, all that type of stuff, recording vlogs. I would get them to work for me, doing stuff that I then therefore not have to do, so that I can still get that return on investment. You can even get them to go and drop off flyers at your practice owners, that type of thing. So you just want to be proactive if you've got employees and make sure that they've got work to do for you. Let's have a look here. Tess says, yes, that's my current thinking after years of being anxious about that. Good. Jana says, I'm thinking that is a good reason to have a contractor, not employees, otherwise additional stress and risk for the business. Yep, very true. Hey Mel, how's things on the sunny coast? Not so sunny today, if it's anything like Brisbane. Yes. You know, and Jana, obviously the PPS coffee chat this morning, were you on there? I can't remember now off the top of my head. Was about, you know, do I subcontract, do I do employees? And you know, that's just one of the many reasons for me personally. I find the subcontractor agreement is much more fairer, you know. So although they don't get paid when they're on holidays, I don't get paid when they're on holidays. It's like, you know, we're in this together as 2 business owners. And that's just why I like that model better, where I'm going to work hard to make sure you're busy, and I expect you to work hard to make sure you're busy. And it's just more for me a mutually reciprocal relationship with that. Whereas when I'm an employee relationship, I often feel that we're the one that needs to give the whole time. You know, at that clinician level. I've never felt like that with my principal psychologist. And I've only employed 2, but that's because they're both amazing. But at a clinician level, most definitely. Okay, Mel says, hi, it's raining. Same here, Mel, same here. All right, let's have a look here. Any questions, guys? This is your opportunity. Let's have a look. Okay, I think that was quite a mouthful. There was about 5 points that I've raised in there: acceptance, aligned vision, ongoing support, career progression pathway, and overhire without putting stress on yourself, because you always need bums on seats first for clinicians, you know, before the bums on seats for the clients come. I find it's really very easy for me to put the pedal on the marketing, my foot on the marketing pedal, and to ramp up the marketing, especially if you've been going for quite some time. So if you're an existing group private practice like myself, you know, we can actually take our foot off the marketing pedal and we still get a lot of consistent referrals. And then I just add 2, 3, 4, maximum 4 extra additional things, and then it just ups very easily. So it's very easy for us to do that if we overhire. You know, when you're just starting out and building your reputation, that's a bit harder. But, you know, and even today when I had Stacey here, she's in this group, she can confirm this conversation. We were looking at her diary. So I'm very mindful of going, you know, there's a lot of work here. We need to make sure that, you know, we look after you in terms of clients. So she does 3 days of clients, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday and Fridays for practice management, business development stuff. And I said that you should not be given any clients, Stacey, if there's a clinician that has an open appointment. Okay, you should not get any new clients. So she's an employee, but I want to make sure my clinician team are fully booked. Why? Because they want to earn an income. So I want to support them in their quest to earn good income. And as a principal, so I treat her like she's me, basically. I don't think like she's an employee and she's working for me. I look at Stacey as being me. So if I was her in this role as a principal, that's what I would do. And therefore, I want her to do that. So she should only be taking on new clients if all the clinicians are fully booked, because her time, even if she's got gaps or stuff, awesome, she can keep up to date with her clinical paperwork, or she can spend more time building the business, because ultimately that is your job as a principal, is to build the business, which includes marketing and also includes building the team. And how do you build the team? By making sure that they're busy, making sure there's progression pathway, making sure you have that constant communication with them, etc., etc., etc. That is your job. As the principal, you look after the team so that they can look after the clients, so that you do less client work. And therefore, you need to have those set things in your practice, which was step number 2, 3, and 4, I think, that we've spoken about, so they can do that and you can focus on those other projects that you have as a project owner, but you cannot neglect them. All right, which is why, even though I've stepped away from my practice, we still need to look at them. That's why I now have a clinical team leader in the practice to provide supervision. You constantly need to look after them. Tess says, that's how I'm framing my new principal role, that the principal is me, so that I can do all the other things that I'm working on. Exactly. Hey, great way of thinking about that. All right, everyone. If there's any other questions, if you are watching the recording, please let's continue having this discussion in the comments section. Any last minute questions whilst we are here live, please let me know. This is, and I might have a candidate. Great, amazing. Okay, but even if you've just got only one person, they need to meet the grade or have potential to grow into it. Okay, we don't settle, especially not at this level. Okay, can't help myself, had to say that. Awesome. Alrighty then, so we'll leave it at that for today. Whatever you are doing, have a fabulous week. And again, I'll come back to the comments and answer all of those. Thank you so much for everybody that has joined me live. I'm so excited to see a bunch of new people in the group. Welcome. We are so happy to have you with us. And yes, I'll speak to you all again officially, formally, and thank you for the love hearts, whomever that was, and the likes. I'll speak to you all again next week. Bye.